Well, hello everyone. So right now what I'm going to be doing is I'm preparing some work for a art lesson, and I just want to kind of show you the process before time, like ahead of time. Sorry, before time there was this. No, ahead of time, and this is one of the things that the problems I have. Like, obviously, I don't have the capabilities to be doing these videos. I'm just doing this all on my phone. Don't have like a good sound area. This is down in the basement. There's always the AC or the heat blowing. You know, it's like turning on and off. So basically, what I'm gonna be doing today is I got to set up my my perspective for. Let's see what I want to do. A auxiliary vanishing point and a 8-point tangent method for cylinders or ellipses. But I'm not going to get to that right now. What I want to do is just basically set up for them so that I have them ready and available for me to work with. So what I think I'm going to do for the auxiliary vanishing point, I think I want to have a low. I'm not quite sure. I think what I want to do is I want to have a wide area to work with, and then I'm just going to have very low showing points. So I'm going to start out with a horizon line here, and I got to measure this out. I'm just going to make it simple on me. So I'm going to start out by measuring the center of this. So it's 18 inches. I want to have it go in 9 inches because I'm going to cut it in half anyways. So typically what I do with the ruler is I measure in, I use the 1 inch mark instead of the edge, because sometimes the edge can kind of be confusing to me. So I just I'm going to go in at the 1 inch mark, which means I'm going to be measuring in 10 inches. So I like to do a couple of dash lines. And I'm using a yellow marker here. To be honest, I don't know why I'm using the yellow marker. I think I'm using the yellow marker because it's unobtrusive of the color with regards to perspective. So I'm just doing a yellow marker. I don't have a draftsman table. I probably need one of those. My studio is not really geared for unfortunately, it's not geared for like doing nice drawings. It's geared for like messy charcoal drawings, but nothing like nothing illustrative. I mean, there's just too much going on. It's like it makes it very difficult. All right, so I got my. You can barely see it, but I got a yellow line here. Got all this cast shadow going right here. But I got my yellow line here, and that's going to be my horizon line. I probably should start labeling that. Yeah, I'm just going to have that labeled so everyone that is going to watch my video will know. Now, I have to do... For every tutorial I do, I have to do a pre-made drawing. So there's all this stuff that I have to do beforehand, and no one cares. No, there's a lot of work ahead of time before I even make these videos. And this is new, me talking about it, but I'm gonna make what it's called a vertical trace, which is basically these lines on the side that they line up with your left and right vanishing point. So I'm going to do a vertical trace, and I'm going to have those come off an inch from the paper. So I'll make a couple score lines coming in an inch. And I like to do around 5 score lines for good measure. That way I get a good average. So I have to do this every time I make a video. I don't mind it. I don't mind it that much. It's a good escape from all the other work that I kind of do. I'm always doing something. Unfortunately, that's a bad thing because I'm doing too many different things. But really, I'm only doing 3 things. I'm not doing a lot of things. I'm doing like 3 things. I'm doing abstract painting, portraits, and I was doing skulls for a while. I'm going to try to do one skull a week. So abstract painting, skulls, and digital art, digital portraits. So that's only 3 things, but to the onlooker, that's like, this guy's doing a lot of different things here. What is he all about? What is this guy all about? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm about. I'm about making art. So, right now you got your horizon line. And I gotta do this twice. So I'm gonna label it just for posterity. Just because I need to. So this is my vertical trace. So what's good about the vertical trace is when you use you can use a vertical trace for your auxiliary vanishing point, and all your basically it's a 4th vanishing point that isn't on. So you have the central vanishing point, the left and right vanishing point, and then you can, if you use the vertical trace, you can make it a 4th vanishing point. And those are good for, like, you can use it to make stairs. You can use it to, you know what? I totally forgot about introducing the stairs. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to introduce that. That's going to have to be another video. You can use it to make stairs. You can use it. The easiest explanation, you can use it for like the roof of a house, or like boxes. Like if you want to have flaps opening out of a box, that's how you can do it with a vertical trace. Bear in mind that that's a simple explanation for that, like what you're doing. So I'm basically going to put a dot here for your vanishing point left, VPL, VPR, and I'm going to get my central vanishing point in here. So I got to measure in, this is 24 inches long, so I'm going to measure in 12 inches from the edge. .12 inches. So this would be roughly my central vanishing point, CVP. And there is that. Now what I want to do is we're going to establish a ground line just so I know, have a good point to put my box, to lay my box on. So we're going to have a ground line. So we're going to measure in an inch from the bottom here. Now the ground line can be, it could be 12 inches, or well, for this case, your ground line cannot be any longer than 11 inches. So if I had a larger paper, the ground line could end right here. And what that means is like anything past that ground line would be distorted visually, perspective-wise. So I'm going to put my ground line here. Go in an inch. Go in another inch. And an inch. So that's what we do. Maybe I should do 2 skulls a week. Like one skull I do live, And another skull I do I do in time lapse. I think that might be manageable, but let's kind of hold off on that and just try to get one done for the week, huh? So I'm getting my ground line here, setting it up for class. Thing about this darn markers, whenever I get down to here, I kind of, the ruler, I'm not using my good ruler, but like every time I use this ruler, the plastic kind of starts gliding off, like touching the ruler, and it causes me to slide off the line a little bit. Kind of irritates me. So I like to start from the center, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm going to start my cube form and move it just slightly from the center, and basically have an off-center cube. Actually, we need to do it like this, and I want it like 4 inches. I think I want to have my cube 4 inches. I think it's always a good scale, I guess. All right. And then I'm going to have my lines going to the vanishing point left and right. Because of this COVID thing right now, all college level school is been relegated online, and I've had to do double the work because normally I do these exercises in class, and I had the class kind of follow along with me and do all the lines as I'm doing them in front of them. So like I'll do it all on a dry erase board so they can kind of follow step by step, and that way I can walk around and see if they're understanding it. But now I have to kind of have it kind of pre-made because of circumstances, you know. It sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm going to make this go out, let's just make this go out 3 inches. I'm going to have the square, the cube go out 3 inches from here. And I'm basically going to use this as an example. I'm going to have this made. I'm going to have it outlined in black, so that I'll have something to start with. So I'm not having to do a cube in front of the class. And that's what I'm doing today. Like I might even if I have time, I might do the video almost right after this, but I gotta look presentable. I gotta put on my nice button-up shirt, make myself look nice for the class or for the video. I don't know. But anyways, I'm doing this auxiliary vanishing point exercise, which I'm going to do. It's going to be done. Normally, I don't like my cubes that wide, but that's fun. And then after I do this video, I'm going to be giving them a online conferencing, so that's going to be kind of interesting to do. I have to actually do this double the work, so I'm going to be doing this again on the computer, which is actually kind of quick, so I'm not too worried about that. It's easier to do it on a computer than here because, like, I don't know, it's just easier. Can't explain it. It's just easier. So I'm making my lines for just making the top of the cube. These markers are kind of tricky because if you hold them in the same spot too long, they'll like start bleeding. But I'm using markers on this paper because you can see it easier on screen, and given the circumstances of where I'm at capability wise with this these videos, it's a little bit easier to do. So I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to outline the cube first. So what I tend to do, I like to kind of put a little dot at the corners here so I know when to stop. I find it helpful, especially when you're doing these perspective drawings, because sometimes you'll have so many lines going to your vanishing points that you can't make sense of it all, and you will end up dragging a line that you didn't mean to drag all the way to the vanishing point. And this kind of prevents me prevents me from doing that, or prevents it from happening, or prevents me from having that happen, I guess. I also like using the ground line because I got this right angle here that allows me to really line it up perfectly. You know? And this is how you get your cube form kind of developed. So even doing a cube in perspective like this, manually without like a computer, takes a long time to do. So people should get a really good appreciation about how long it takes to do just a simple form like this. There's so many actions. I had to do I'm doing double the work because I have to outline it, and then I have to do the underlines, and then I have to outline it with a dark pen marker. But I'm doing that simply because I don't know. I guess it's habit. I don't necessarily have to do it by with a yellow outline. I could probably do it without it, and it'd still be okay. But I do it because of habit. And typically when you do these drawings, you always have your lines going to the vanishing point. Now, for demonstration purposes, I think what I'm going to do is use my red marker. I don't want to use the blue marker. It's too dark. I think the red markers, you can see it just enough. The yellow marker is hard to see, but I think the red marker will work just fine. So what I'm going to do with the, actually I'm going to do something here. I'm going to make it into a box. Like an actual box. So there you go. Got a little heavy right there because I stopped. But I have a box. Because I'm making a box, we're going to do the flaps. But I'm not going to do the flaps fully. I'm simply going to have it all pre-made so that it's easier to understand. I want to do a quick outline. I want my box flap to be right here. I have all these markers, so I don't know which ones I want to use. Now, if this blue, now I could use this blue if it showed up, but it doesn't show up on the paper. You're going to find a piece of paper here. So maybe it will show up, I don't know. No, it's almost dead. You know? Yeah, so I guess I'm going to use the red marker for this. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's the yellow lines. I have all these lines. The light is above me, and I have some in front, and I'm trying to mitigate that. But like, I'm simply doing this so I have it ready. And one second. Yeah, that's not as much cast shadow, but it's just one of those things. My as you kind of gathered, I'm not gearing these videos for like, they're not really geared for lighting's not my issue. I'm not worried about the lighting. I'll set up the lighting later. I'm going to be doing the video a little later on. But I'm setting up the video, the lines, so I'm not having to do the lines in the actual video. Yeah, so I'm setting up the lines so I don't have to do all the work prior. Like, so I'm gonna be talking about this auxiliary vanishing point later, but because I got to set up another one. But for now, I'm setting it up so I have it available to me, and I can discuss it. Otherwise, during the other video, they're gonna be watching me make the 2-point perspective shape, and they already understand how to make 2-point perspective. So I'm having it pre-made. So right now, I'm just setting up what needs to be done for an auxiliary vanishing point. So I don't really know. I don't do enough auxiliary vanishing points to really like stress about it. Let's see here. So an auxiliary vanishing point will allow you to make these shapes here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm making flaps to the box that I will render later on, but not right now. I'm just gonna draw them out. Unfortunately, when I do these flaps, they're going to be like transparent. Yeah, you're welcome. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing when I do these flaps, they're going to be transparent because they're going to be drawn on top of here. And then normally you'd be able to erase this, but it's all going to be whatever. It is what it is. I'd have to deal with it. Let's see here. I want this back flap to be really high and present. So I'm just going to imagine that this back flap that I'm making. So what I'm trying to express with this is just how much work it is involved to make as something as a box that has flaps opening in perspective. Like, notice all the lines I have to make. I'm going to be making 2, 4, 6, 8 lines just for the flaps. And then I got to do 4 more. So 12 lines total for all these flaps. Because I got to determine the edge, the top of them. So a lot of work is involved just to make something as simple as boxes. So I think I want to have one of the flaps kind of tilted downwards, and that's what I'm going to do on this one. So I'm going to put like I think the flap like right here. Actually, what I think is I'm going to demonstrate this one. So I want to have the vanishing point marked so I know where it's at. But I'm not going to work on it because I want to show it to the class or show it when I demonstrate for the video. So I want it kind of like right there. That way I just have a line. I can make the I'll do it in yellow, and then that way it's there and I know where it's going to be, but it's not going to be apparently like present during the video. The thing about doing teaching these exercises that they're that's weird. That looks funny. It always looks kind of like that. Anyways. I always find it weird when I do this auxiliary vanishing point. It always ends up looking kind of awkward to me. But that's a good start to kind of explain the auxiliary vanishing point. Now I got to go and set up another one. Do the whole thing all over again for cylinders. Now, I think just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to do horizontal. Just for simplicity's sake, it just makes it. It's just recreatable. I just can keep doing it over and over again, and I don't have to worry about where I'm placing things. So I'm just going to do horizontal one again. Again, just measure in an inch. All this. You don't have to set up your perspective drawings like this. You don't. It could just very well be just a horizon line. You know, but I was telling the students, the class, that there's a structure behind all perspective that people don't know about that much because, it's not really taught, but there's a structure behind it, and they'll find out why this is the reason why it points out why their perspective looks weird. As because they're not taking into account how wide their vanishing points need to be to have lower and lower forms, a lower ground line. So if their forms or shapes are past their cone of vision, which I've talked about prior to this, they have these weird distortions. So I just got to set up again, which is, I got to do all this all over again. Let's do the horizon line. I'm gonna put the vertical trace on first, just because I've already started. And then I gotta set up a cube that I'm going to be using the X formation again. So I'm going to have the X formation, this X pattern kind of already on the cube that I'm going to show to the class. And I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I'm going to do it by freehand or if I'm going to draw it by with marker first. I don't know. I might do both. So I'm just getting the vertical traces here again. So if they want to use, the reason why I want the students to kind of do this every time is that if they want to be really elaborate with their forms, they're going to need to put this on here anyway. So if they want to have like weird angles to their shapes or put a roof to their house, they're going to need a vertical trace. Or if they want to draw stairs, they're going to need a vertical trace. So now I'm doing the horizon line. Measuring 10 inches. Yeah, just measuring 10 inches and there we go. Get our horizon line in there. So every time I start moving here, my marker starts gliding on the ruler again, and it slides it off. You'd think I learned by now, but it's happened like twice already. And I'm going to draw the ground line. That's going to be 1 inch from the bottom. Now again, I do the ground line doesn't have to be 1 inch from the bottom. I just do that just because it's a good habit for me. Kind of have it there, so that I'm at least aware that there is a ground line. I'm messing up right here again. I'm always messing up. Okay. You got your ground line. I don't think I labeled the ground line on that one. I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna label the ground line on that piece. So at least I have it there. And labeled. Label the vertical trace. You don't need to label these. I'm just doing it as like kind of like reminding anyone that's paying attention to these videos so they know, like, oh, there's a vertical trace. Horizon line. Your vanishing point left. Your vanishing point right. And let's see, it's got to be, it's the central vanishing point. So 12 inches. There we go. All right, now I think what I'm going to do for this example is I'm going to have at least two cubes, one above the horizon line and one below the horizon line. And I'm going to draw out the X formation on all of them, on every, I'm going to draw out the X formation in bold lines, and then I think on a lot of them I'm just going to use the yellow lines because I don't want them crowding up the area. Because if I use red and blue lines on every one, it's going to look really weird to have all those lines showing. So, just like before, I'm going to do a cube on the right side, and I'll probably do a cube on the left side here. And this one's going to be 4 inches just like before, because I like to maintain the same type of thing so people can recognize it, I guess. I don't know. I think it works. I don't know. I'm not here to, I can't judge. What I think works to me doesn't necessarily work for other people, you know? And I'm always open to other opinions with art. Here's something kind of interesting about artists, though, is like some artists are not as open as you think they are to opinions. I don't think they're as open to constructive criticism. What I think funny is I'm part of like a lot of these groups online, and what I find interesting is you don't have a lot of people that are able to explain what another artist needs to do to improve. Even like the professionals, there's like, I think because it becomes so natural to them that they don't know how to explain it. Like whenever I look at some of these artists post their work and then I hear it, they're like, what do I need to do? What can I do to improve? And you'll have like these like blanket statements like practice proportions. Okay, well, what's proportions and what's proportional? No, or practice more. Like, oh, I am practicing. That's what the thing. I am practicing. Like, of course, I am practicing. But like, practice more. Like, what do you mean? You need to practice more is a very generic statement. And a lot of people don't know of ways of explaining how to get more sound advice, and it's just it's not a shame. It's not like I'm upset about that. Just like when I go online and look up art tutorials on like YouTube, they're almost too general, and like I think a lot of like the fine artists, the really good artists online there, discredit. They don't see like some things people have an affinity for, right? They just get it. and their advice is very shallow because they've never had to, like, every time they drew something new, there was growth every time. You know, they got better each time. And then there's people that draw hundreds or thousands of drawings, and their growth is only marginal. And it's not because they don't understand the concepts. It's just like, it's just difficult. They don't see. They're not. Maybe it just doesn't happen as easily as to other people as other people have it. You know, and the people that have that ability to like grow exponentially really quickly, they can't teach the people that are slow at understanding these concepts because they're complex concepts. You know, I made a lot of bad work, which means I probably understand what people are doing wrong more than the prodigy, because I made a lot of bad work. Although I think what's going to be wrong with this is they're not going to be cylinders, but I think the front one will be the best way. This will be the best one to use, which is kind of problematic. I learned a little bit. Okay, the 3-inch. So I'm gonna, on this one, first thing is, no, we'll do the X. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the X formation here. Mark my dots. So I need to have this X formation to kind of explain the tangent, how people make ellipses. I don't like doing this because it's very it's so subjective. Like, it takes a lot of visual finagling to kind of make it work sometimes. Like, people expect it to be a circle or an ellipse, and you know, with this method, it's supposed to kind of make a cylinder, but it's only going to be a cylinder if your cube is square. If I made this right plane, dragged it out to then fit right here, it's going to be a really wide ellipse, you know. So as you can see, the amount of work just to make one of these videos, there's a lot of like stuff I got to do prior. So basically what I'm doing is I'm setting up for to create a cylinder / ellipse. And I need this information to do like the 8-point. There's a name for it, but I think it's a little bit like it's too long. It's too long of a name. It's called the 8-point tangent method. And it takes a lot of work just to make this. So I don't know whether I'm going to draw it out on one side. I might have it pre-drawn on one of them. Pre-drawn, not drawed. Pre-drawn on one of them. Just so I can have it as an example. And then I can give a little demonstration to the class. Again, I don't want to have like these, I don't want to show the class how I came to this point because, well, I don't need to show the class where these lines go anymore. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to outline this. Actually, not yet. I'm going to do all the yellow. I'm going to outline all I'm going to do the 8-point or do the plus and X sign again, but only in yellow instead of the red and blue. I just need the red and blue for an example. reason why I'm trying to treat it as if I was going to do this video or do this drawing as if I'm going to make it a finished piece. So I don't want to have all these lines showing at the same time. And yellow tends to recede in the background a little bit, so that's why I'm doing this. But yeah, it's a lot of labor to do something like this. Like, to make a cylinder or to make the front face of your cube into a circle, notice how many things I have to do. I have to do all these actions here. And I like to do, to bisect these areas here and get this diamond shape. It's not part of it, but I think it helps me visualize. It helps me visualize where I need to go. So I got to do another cube after this and have it ready. And I'll give me some time to think about whether I want to draw this out with a pencil. I'm not sure yet. I think I might want to draw it out with a pencil first, because it takes a little bit of you gotta kind of get used to it, because you're making an ellipse essentially, and I want to draw it out with a pencil so kind of see what it looks like. I think I might do that. Again, I always like to put little dots to know when my form's end. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to do this X form on top. I'm going to do it, and if it turns out to be too much, I might take it off. I might not do it on the next square. So I might not do it on the next square here. But it's just, it could be a little bit like overkill, like I'm showing too much. Another thing about doing this in markers is because the width of the marker is kind of deceiving, you have to leave a little bit of extra space to make sure that it lines up with the area that you want to draw over. Because if I do it right on the line, it ends up being right next to it, but not on it. Which takes a little practice. So I think I'll leave it like that. I don't think I'm going to do like the angles on it for that. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to outline it in black so people can see it. Now, I had planned on doing this video right afterwards, but this is actually taking a lot longer than I expected. Actually, no. I expected it to take a while, even when I'm not narrating it. Because I know that like last time I did something just as simple as this, it took me a while to do. It's a lot of labor for something simple as this. Imagine if you had to do like a cityscape. That's why when I give the assignment, I'm going to give them like 2 weeks to work on it. I want them to do a really good job. I don't want them to feel like they're rushed. They have to rush to get their drawing done too. So there's that. So I want to do 2 cubes just in case I think I need to give another demonstration, so at least I have one available to me. The auxiliary vanishing point is a really simple concept, so it doesn't need a lot of explanation. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I'm assuming it won't. This one will, because there's so many things at play. There's a lot of like lines. Like, I mean, look at that. There's like, I got like a modified Rubik's Cube here. Now I got to do another one. Yippee. So this one I'm going to raise up a few inches. I'm going to do like start from 2 inches. I'm going to stop at 6. Using the horizon line to kind of have a good straight edge here. And now that I have it drawn, I'm going to flip it upside down. Simply because I like it. I don't like drawing over like this. I just want to be close to it. Makes it easier. Just repeating the same process, really. It's a slow process, that's for sure. I need a, I need a way to mount my, I need to buy a special mount, so I can have the camera hanging over right in front, as opposed to kind of standing up and doing this. It's so much easier. And I'm going to try going a little bit less than 3 inches this time. I'm going to go 2 3/4. I want to see if that's a good size for this. Maybe not. Last time I did 3 inches, but I'm going to go 2 3/4. I did not know measurements that well until I had to start making my own frames, and then I learned measurements really well when I kept messing up. This is a funny little thing about like perspective. I'll often get students that are that know perspective. I get it. They know perspective. They understand it. But once I get to these really complex ones, these complex like perspective points, I lose them. I think what happens is they might stop listening to me. I guess they're like, "Oh, it's too easy. 1 point perspective, too easy. 2 point perspective, too easy." All right. Auxiliary vanishing point. What? Stairs! You know? Then it gets really difficult. Yeah, look at that. It's just taking forever. I'm really impatient today. Let's see here. I think what I might want to do for this one is I might want to have the stripes showing on this side and then use the yellow on the other side here. Compositionally, I want the red and blue stripes on this side. Not stripes, lines on this side because it's opposite, so you have a balance. But like, possibly for demo purposes, I might want this to show a different way. I'm not sure, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that just because it makes me uncomfortable. So I'm going to do the yellow lines on this one, on these edges, and all that stuff. I'm going to do the red and blue on the area that makes me a little bit uneasy. And typically that's what I kind of do when I do a lot of things. Is if it makes me a little bit uncomfortable to do, it means I'm probably on the right track. I'm doing something that's testing my patience or testing my my worldview with art. Not that I have like a worldview of art, but I definitely have a perspective. And so I typically do work that makes me a little bit uneasy or do an action that makes me uneasy. So that's why I'm going to do the red and blue lines here. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. So I think maybe I might do my video like this. I might have to set it up so that it's at a different vantage point. I might have to do a little bit of cleaning up, but I might be able to do it this way. I'm not sure. Hopefully people understand it. I mean, all my other ones I was doing where I was in the frame. I don't know. I think I might do that. It's going to take a little bit of it's going to take some extra work on my behalf, but I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. So let's outline this. It's a lot of work, you know, for something so simple. It's just like with doing value drawings. Like, to do a really rich drawing that has a lot of transitional value from light to dark, you just can't rush it. You know, you can't rush it. Like, you can't just keep pressing harder and harder and it makes the transitional value darker and darker. If you do that, it's going to show that you rushed it, and then you're not going to be able to backpedal it. So you got to go slow. Like, good art, like, I'm not discrediting like gestural drawings and like sketches. There's a lot of good sketching out there. I love sketching. But like, if you're going for a certain type of visual like appearance, if you want to have that rich value that you are trying to aspire towards, you know, it just takes time. Just like good perspective drawings, you just can't really rush it. I mean, you got to use a ruler. How fast are you going to be able to manipulate the ruler left and right and get these angles? You know, we always want, just want to like, we want to rush things. We're always in a hurry. You know, we want it now. So I'm going to try to do 2 videos today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be successful, but we're going to see how it works out. I'm going to do one, and I'm going to do the other. Try to upload them in a very short amount of time. So we're just going to see how that pans out, you know. But this video that I'm doing right now is simply to show you, basically to have, I'm trying to do it so I don't let a good opportunity go to waste. So I've been trying to document almost like 80 to 90% of all my work. So whenever I'm working, I'm trying to record it or put it live and then put it on YouTube afterwards. So I do that for about 80% of all my work, which is it can be hard. I'm not gonna lie, it can be time consuming. But right now I'm just doing the yellow lines here. You know. And I'm almost done, and I think it's gonna call for a break afterwards. I might need to do a break, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a break. I gotta go to my class and at around 10. And I probably have some emails I gotta look into. I don't really know yet. So once I get on the computer, I'll be able to decide what I need to do prior. So now I'm going to do the X formation and have this ready and available for class. Yeah. What am I doing? So one of the things that I have trouble with, me personally, with perspective, is I don't know how to do a perfect cube in 2-point perspective. I've tried it, and it's confusing to me. I can do a perfect cube in 1-point perspective because it's just measuring. But a 2-point perspective involves like these points on the horizon line, and it involves you doing like this weird arcing. You have to have a protractor and all this other stuff. You're welcome. So I'm almost done here. I'm just going to get this this X formation here, and I think when I go to do my demo and have it uploaded prior to class, I'm going to probably have some pencils nearby. Yeah, some pencils. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm always trying to do, this is a new thing to me. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, because I actually don't let my sketches and my abstract painting fool you. I'm actually pretty good at doing realistic stuff. You know? So I'm pretty decent at that. And I may fumble my words a ton of times or stumble them, especially when I'm trying to talk when I'm painting. When I'm painting, there really isn't much going on up there. I'm sorry. I'm mainly just like focusing on getting the lines done. And when I'm painting, like there's this expectation that there's some sort of like symbolic thing that's occurring in the background, but really I'm just executing. But that's it for today. For now, I'm going to come back and work on these, but I just wanted to show everyone the process of doing the work ahead of time, so that I have them ready and available for my class. All right, take care.